Burning issue this week. It occurred this week, talking about the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission achieving its largest single asset recovery since its establishment in 2003. And this significant event follows the final forfeiture of an estate consisting of 753 duplexes and apartments in Abuja. According to the spokesperson of the anti-graft agency, Dele Oyewale, the recovered estate spans 150,500 square meters. He also says the government official involved in the fraudulent construction of the estate is currently under investigation by the EFCC. The action is an important step, it says, in preventing the suspects from benefiting from the proceeds of crime. And we have joining us in the studio now, lawyer and political analyst Tony Dania. Welcome. It's good to see you.
Thank you.
So what do you make of this? It will not be the first time that the AFCC will be heading to court. We saw how it did for the wife of former President Jonathan, going on to court, seeking forfeitures of several properties. It also did the same for former Petroleum Minister Desani Alison Madueke. And now we are seeing one which it describes as the largest single asset seizure or recovery. It's big.
Yes.
It's a big one. But how much of a breakthrough is this for you?
Well, this is a breakthrough, but if we say it is the largest in the history of EFCC, I don't know. I happen to know personally the current National Security Advisor, who was the inaugural executive chairman of EFCC, Nuhu Ribadu. I know him very well, and I knew the Brazilian Hall. I don't know if you heard of the Brazilian Hall, where billions were defrauded. One of the suspects died in prison, a director of, I don't want to mention the bank. And I'm aware that they were bringing money with the intention of compromising Nuhu Ribadu, but they didn't know that they were keeping the money against them. They brought millions of dollars, and then confidently work with the suspect that the EFCC is looking for, with the lawyer. And they were detained. And they said, oh, but we brought so much money. I said, the money are kept against you as exhibit. That is highly commendable. One of the cases that gave Nuhu Ribadu a very strong integrity till date. I can't remember the total amount. If you are saying this is the largest, that means...
If you look at the value,
yes,
duplexes, 750.
It is a very big,
and
a very good one, and it's something that has also put the current executive chairman of EFCC in the rank of Ribadu when you talk of integrity. This is a very big one and highly commendable. Then that means it is alleged that this estate is owned by the governor, the ex-governor, Emefiele of CBN. That means Emefiele might go down history as the most corrupt government official in Nigerian history.
The EFCC has denied it.
Denied what?
Denied that Emefiele owns it, saying that the investigation is still ongoing.
Yes. Some of these, including Sarah reporters and others, have come up to say that it belongs to Emefiele. EFCC has not denied that it belongs to Emefiele. EFCC said we cannot disclose the owner for now because we are still investigating. I expected that they would have said specifically, no, it doesn't belong. Don't forget that they have not disclosed the owner. EFCC have not disclosed the owner of this estate. True. It is being speculated. That's why I use the word that if it turns out to be true that they actually belong to Emefiele, that means he will be the most corrupt government official in the history of Nigeria.
So if it doesn't turn out to be true?
Then we need to know who owns it. The EFCC should not hide that from public purview. We need to know who owns that estate. You can't keep us in a suspense. If you start an investigation, you started an investigation based on your intelligence or based on a complaint. Whether intelligent or complaint, just like we had that time they recovered dollars in an apartment in Ikoyi, they kept hiding the owners. When they recover some huge amount of dollars in an apartment in Kaduna, later turns out to be owned by, well, I don't want to mention his name. So, but they didn't tell us at the beginning. The one in Ikoyi, we later get to know through other sources. Till today, EFCC did not tell us the owner of that money. So this one is the same thing. If they don't want us to speculate, then they should tell us. We are commending them for a job well done, but they shouldn't keep the country in suspense. I know that they would have disclosed to certain persons that need to know this fact, like the president and the rest, but the public need to know too.
Right, and well, EFCC is saying in response to insinuations, as you have said, to reactions or backlash it is receiving for not revealing the identity of the owners, is saying it will be unprofessional. And come to think of it, it also reflects, you know, on the rules of engagement of other agencies, even security agencies, on the issue of, you know, terrorism, where they say they have a list, but these names are not revealed, high-profile Nigerians who are found, who are indicted in terrorism. So in terms of for the agencies saying that investigation is ongoing, it will be unprofessional to reveal identities at this time. How does that sound to you? What meaning do you draw from it when you compare with how such mandates are done in other crimes?
It is the same thing. I agree with the EFCC. Professionally, if you are investigating, there are certain facts you don't disclose until when it becomes necessary. Even when they conclude the investigation sometimes, they still do not disclose for the same professional reason. Now, the recovery of this estate was so loud. It was an achievement. And then you will blame the public for being curious too, for asking questions, you know. And then it is better to concentrate on the fact that EFCC has achieved this much. EFCC is still investigating. There is no doubt that that estate belonged to a Nigerian at least. There is also no doubt that that Nigerian is likely to be a government official. There's no doubt about that. So we can leave it at that. The important thing is that EFCC have achieved this, a very bold one. You can imagine the kind of pressure the EFCC would have gone through, and yet, because one fact that is very clear, that is established, is that they have recovered this much estate.
All right.
In a single location, in an area that is highly lucrative in Abuja. That fact is established. They have not denied it. Nobody has denied it. You can now, analyze it and say, look, it belongs to an individual because they are not separately located. They are in one location, and they are alike, the same kind of building, duplexes. So naturally, it will belong to one organization or one individual.
All right. So we have joining us our next guest via Zoom is a lawyer and public affairs, political analyst. Justice Oyewale join us via Zoom. Good morning, and thank you for joining us at this time, Justice. I think we're having some audio issues. Can you hear me, Justice?
Perhaps it should unmute. Yes.
Oh, good. Nice one. So, looking at everything that has been said, the issues regarding the forfeiture of said property. When this news came about, what came to mind? Tell us your thoughts on all of this.
Still having the problem.
Hello.
Okay, I think we'll still have some audio issues here.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Yeah, you can. Yes, we can.
I know, like my friend in the studio here said, well, for me, it's a good one. It's a good discovery by EFCC. It's a good advancement. It's a good, look out for them to have seen this. So for me, it took time because we are in Nigeria and EFCC is an anti-graft agency, and they are supposed to also, be disturbing with intelligence in the country. For me, it took a very long time for them to achieve this. Because we must tell ourselves the truth. Maybe it has been been discovered. The next question now, the next thing we should be asking ourselves now, what next? What next? Like somebody said, at the end of the day, this discovery, if nothing is done, many people will not know the outcome of the investigation. Many people will not know what has really happened, or at the end of the day, what will happen about it. So the Nigerians are watching. We are watching. Let me give you an example. I am from Imo State. And a similar thing happened in Imo State. In some of we are away, where it was discovered that the former governor of Imo State, it was discovered that he had an issue somewhere in Owerri. And when the panel was set up, to construct those things, as I speak to you now, I think it is now police officers who have nowhere to stay that are now occupying all those places. Free of that. But this kind will not happen, though. Even if it will happen now, they will figure it among themselves. Then Nigerians are watching. Let us be watching and see what will happen.
In terms of the implications of this haul, this single haul that the EFCC was able to amass, Mr. Ohebu, still with you. What is that one thing, that is striking for you when you look at this magnitude and you look at the implications? More than 700 duplexes and apartments, and like Mr. Daniel here said, in one place, built similarly. Especially while the war against corruption and corruption fighting back and all of that is ongoing. What is that one thing that stands out for you in terms of the implication?
Well, the truth is that, like I said, for me, I applaud them, they apply. But they should do more. They've not done more. They've not done much. And I say to you, it's not only going after people who have left the government. Eventually is no longer in government. There are still so many people today in government that are following one way or another that have this similar kind of thing all over the country. So they should also go out and look at for them. Corruption is not only people that have left the government. When people are in government, they are still rich and stealing Nigerians' money. Because when you ask yourself, what in the government, how much is your salary? How much is the allowance? So why people own an estate?
Yes.
You're not doing anything. It is just people's money. So EFCC should, a sort of stand their first right to people who are already, in government, from the local government to the federal level. So when it comes to Abuja, for especially estates here and there, owned by individuals, they should start and look out for the owners of those systems.
All right, let's come back to the studio now.
Yes. Looking at all of this now, the question about the identity of the person still looms large. Many people have been complaining, even on social media, that if it were just an ordinary person, this face would be splashed on newspapers and TV stations. And there are questions about EFCC's mode of investigation. Rather than waiting to have properly investigate these matters, they go and do media and propaganda
Stunts,
about all of this. Yes. What do you think about all that?
Yeah, first, let me quickly say this, because with due respect to my colleague, and by the way, when you say Justice Oyewale, we actually have a Justice Oyewale at the Federal Court. So I was thinking that that's the person that will come. Now, the EFCC did not disclose when they recovered this thing. They are disclosing that it has been forfeited. We must take note of that.
Final forfeiture, indeed.
It has been forfeited. That means the federal government will take the proceeds of sale of that place.
But the question about the ownership.
We have addressed that, why they did not disclose. They said they are investigating. And it is not improper. It is not wrong during investigation. It's not the first time. Even in advanced crime, they usually hide such information. How you get it at the time of investigation. So right now, the property has been forfeited. I don't know if they are still carrying other investigation. Probably there might be other properties or other valuable assets belonging to the same suspect.
But wouldn't it have been better, the EFCC, to avoid all of these speculations, the EFCC just announce or disclose the owner of this property, since it has been forfeited to the federal government already?
These speculations is not unusual. No. Whenever, and the EFCC is the big investigation agency in Nigeria today. So whenever they uncover items like this, there will be speculation. Some we criticize, some we commend.
But at least they know the individual who owns it.
They will keep that. So it is sources like whatever the newspaper you just read, wherever they get their information from, we look at sources like that until the EFCC. Thank God the EFCC came to say, look, we are not, because people are now saying it's likely to belong to so person. EFCC now clarified that we cannot confirm that, we cannot deny that, but we will not disclose the identity of the owner for now. That's what the EFCC have done. I'm not speaking for the EFCC. Right. One, I commend them for this recovery. Two, I know it's not improper and it is professional to hold on to certain sensitive information, no matter the reaction from the public. I'm a public person. I need to know the owner of this too. So, but I am being objective here in my analysis. Then the item has been forfeited until...
As unclaimed.
Yes, until the court or a court of superior jurisdiction states otherwise. That property belongs to the federal government as it stands.
Okay.
Okay, so let's put you on hold again. Let's compare notes with Justice Oyewale, the lawyer. So in terms of the right to know, the need to know on the part of Nigerians, because many people are curious, there are speculations that perhaps one person, could be linked to the ownership of these properties. But as a lawyer, if it is true that this individual, this high-profile Nigerian former government official is indeed the owners, the hesitance on the part of the EFCC in revealing the identity, could it be due to the fact that, this individual, it has cases, about 3 cases or so against this individual, and so revealing the identities now could thwart its cases? Could that be a reason? The question is for you, Justice.
Oh.
Justice, can you hear the studio?
I doubt.
All right, let me allow Mr. Daniel to address that question while we reconnect with Justice there. Could the reason now, you understand now, you're speaking to us that you accept the reason for the ongoing, but could it also be tied to ongoing prosecution, and revealing identities now could also be against the interest of the EFCC prosecuting related cases?
Yes. So let us use the phrase, assuming without conceding that it is actually a Mefele that own this estate. What you are saying is that the EFCC not confirming that fact could be as a result of other cases they have against the same Mefele, correct? That's what you are saying.
Indeed.
Good. Now, you are correct, madam. The EFCC have multiple cases, some of which they have not, I know that they have not even taken to court. They are still investigating.
Beyond the 3.
Beyond the 3 that we know. For example, if this recovery, if it is owned by an individual, that kind of large estate, the value of that thing is not less than 100 billion. You think the person, somebody that can afford that, cannot afford to pay the best lawyer to go and defend him? Because the EFCC will not just go and get final forfeitures. They must publicize it. Owners will be informed. When they will first of all seal the place, so everybody is aware that EFCC is investigating this property. So the owner ought to come out and defend it with proof that it is not proceed of corruption. So the EFCC might now either amend existing cases they have or file a fresh charge. So you are correct. It might be connected to it, but we are just assuming. We are assuming. But I think the EFCC should also consider the fact that public are curious and not give room for too much negative speculation. So they have a public relations department. They should be able to address to some extent. There's nothing wrong. Everybody is aware that they are investigating MFLA. everybody is aware that so much has been recovered from him, subject to the decision of the court. There still remain allegations anyway, but everybody is aware. So now, if it is the same MFLA, why not just say it so that we know it's connected to him? You can't say, oh, you have already started investigating this individual.
Already gone to court.
You've already gone to court. So except if it is not connected to MFLA and there is another person, maybe an ex-governor or somebody, and they don't want to disclose that for now. But
why should they have that freedom not to disclose? Because, for instance, we've had several cases like this, and the owners or the names of the corporates have been said by the EFCC. So why are we having this situation and no mention of a particular person, rather than allowing us to speculate?
Well, we have explained that before.
Understandably so.
Good.
I still ask the question.
Yes.
Why is EFCC not wanting to reveal the identity of the person?
We have asked EFCC that question. A lot of rights advocates have asked that question. I've had to also ask myself that you have done this big recovery. Why no disclosure? Don't forget, let me quickly tell you. There are certain persons, for instance, before the EFCC go to arrest, they must tell the president. There are certain intelligence they must share with the president and discuss with the president and say, okay, we want to do this for so reason. Otherwise, they are not only the agency that is, or the person, using in quotes, that is under pressure. The presidency is also under pressure. Because this also goes to the president. Under the presidency, we achieved this much. It also shows that, don't forget, any person that can own that kind of estate is likely to know the president. And it's likely to have said, how do we sort out? And they say, you're on your own.
Why do you tie this? Why do you tie this to...
It takes a big man in the Nigerian context. A very big man.
But anyway, that is
so it shows something. It shows that the president will not tolerate corruption. It shows that if you commit and you think you know those in powers, and you think you can talk to them to get off the hook, it will be difficult. That's what it means. So the presidency will also be under pressure. Who are these people? So for them to keep it low, it shows that they have a very good reason. Apart from the ethics of investigations by agencies like EFCC or similar agencies similar to EFCC in other crimes, that is a practice. At the right time, I think they will disclose. But I feel too that the pressure is so much, the public want to know. They are eager. They are eager to know. So there are two areas, you know. I just think with time, the EFCC will have no choice than to disclose.
All right, let's come back to Justice Oyewale now. I know we're really battling the odds in terms of connectivity, but I hope you're following the conversation here. So, first off, these are unclaimed properties, and we are showing the pictures, you know, showing you the magnitude, the humongous nature of this, this seizure. So, these are unclaimed properties, and it's a final forfeiture, you know, as granted by the court. We also understand that this was to be a mass housing scheme. In other words, you know, for the generality of Nigerians, Nigerians. So, how does this, you know, look to you? Corruption fighting back. This large haul, and yet no one comes to claim them, given AFCC the leverage it needs to head to court to ask that these properties be forfeited to the federal government?
First of all, are you hearing me? Are you hearing me?
Yes.
First of all, as far as I'm concerned, personally, I don't think EFCC.
Justice, your line is freezing again. Can you hear me? So sorry, Justice Oyewale, if you can hear. Okay, we hear you're back. Please carry on.
So, as far as I'm concerned, it's neither here nor here. But for me, even if even if they are not, they are claiming that is not known, or the identity of the person is not known, it's no problem. It's the thing in Nigeria. The best thing to do.
And you wanted to say something. The best
Well,
thing
indeed,
to do.
sorry, because I even wanted you to backtrack a bit so we could even get the beginning of, your analysis. But perhaps we'll try to reconnect you at another time. But let's get final remarks now from Mr. Daniel. Did you get the question, and would you like to address that? Talking about the fact that these properties are unclaimed, at least going by reports, and the fact that it was originally a mass housing scheme for Nigerians, and now we have seen how some networks, high-profile networks, are now singling it out for themselves. In terms of where we are in unraveling corruption, unbeaten corruption at its game, where are we headed?
Well, corruption, fighting corruption is one thing. Corruption also has the ability to fight back, and it's actually fighting back. But this one is a plus. It's a big one. It's an achievement, not only for EFCC, and not only for the administration, but for Nigeria.
But it gives you a sense that there is still much more, doesn't it?
Yes. We still need to do more. If I was aware of this policy of rewarding intelligence, that is, we call it whistleblower, right?
Whistleblowers.
Yes, it's just rewarding intelligence. If you have information that you think will enable the government achieve something or get at a corrupt, somebody that has enriched himself corruptly, will pay you some percentage. So it was working, and they were able to cover up the identity of the whistleblower. I don't know how they got this, but I think the EFCC have achieved. Other agencies should improve their fight against corruption. ICPC should work hard. I'm aware of the police achievement too. Zone 2, the AIG, shortly after I resumed, they arrested a fraudster who attempted to bribe them with $100,000. And they refused. I think that is a plus too. So imagine $100,000 in the situation we found ourselves, somebody to resist as receiving $100,000 is commendable. So we are doing our best. The FCC is doing the best to fight corruption. The fact that the system is still corrupt and corruption is said to be fighting back affects everybody. Mm-hmm. Yes, everybody, because some persons, we have information, they don't know how to pass it. Let me quickly advise that if you have information that will be useful and you don't know how to pass it, you can give it to any lawyer near you, sign an agreement with the lawyer will assist you. If you're afraid to go to the police or go to EFCC, then maybe they will arrest you. Any lawyer can assist you. And then, with due respect to my colleague, I mean lawyers in practice. Not a lawyer that is sitting...
You can vouch for any lawyer in practice that will get
to
this
a reasonable
information
extent, yes.
Will act on it?
Yes, if any lawyer in practice, at least will be bold enough and courageous enough to pass the information to the relevant agencies.
All right, Tony Daniel, right.
No time to go.
It would have been great to speak further on that, but we thank you very much for lending your voice to this critical subject. We also thank very much Justice Ohegbu, who joined us, at intervals, but, because of the network, we couldn't continue the conversation from his end. We thank you very much if you are still listening, and we hope to see you in person or for better network experience. You're watching TVC Breakfast.